Hi, I'm Deborah Savager with Legal Office Guru, and in today's video, I'm going to show you some techniques for putting together pleadings and other documents faster. Plus, I'm going to make a special announcement a little bit later. If we've not met, I teach lawyers and other legal professionals how to use Microsoft Office better. I'm going to share my screen now so I can show you a couple of these little techniques. But while I'm doing that, please let me know in the comments whether you're watching from, where you're watching from, and whether you're watching this live or in replay. So let me get back over here and share my screen. Get to the first one here. And we'll get started here. First of all, I want to tell you about a little scenario that came up at work the other day. One of the attorneys came up to me and said, "Hey, can you put together a stipulation of dismissal for this particular case that we're working on? Don't you have a form for that?" And I said, "Yes, I do." So what I did was I pulled up the pleading template that I have established for this particular case, something that looks very much like this one. And really, here's all I did. I changed the title. And then I went in here, went to the Insert tab, went to Quick Parts, and then popped in the stipulation of dismissal. I can change a few things here. And then because this is going to be something that is going to be done jointly by all of the parties, they all need to sign it. So I'm going to take this out, this single signature block, and instead I'm going to go back to the Insert tab. And this time I'm going to go to Table, because this is a table that I've done and I've saved it. Signature block multi-party. And I've already got the particular attorney that I'm working for already in here, and I can put the other attorneys in here. In fact, I can, because I'm using the template for that particular case, I can just copy this information from here, from the certificate of service that I've already got set up. And then I can take that out and just move this one over. There's just a few changes that I need to do to actually customize this. And that's it. I have a full joint stipulation for dismissal. And that took me, I didn't even start the timer on my phone, but that took me just a couple of minutes because I had all of those elements saved in either a template or in Quick Parts. Now let me show you an even easier one. I'm going to switch over to a different document, just in case you're doing anything with discovery, for example. I'm going to switch over to this document. Say you're putting together a set of interrogatories. One of the first things I see a lot of people do is they have a set of definitions that they put into all of their interrogatories. It defines things like you and your, or document, or identify, or some of these other things that are commonly used in to make sure that everybody's really clear on what it is you're asking for. Again, I go to Quick Parts. I go down into my litigation section. Aha, there are my discovery definitions. Now, obviously, this is an extremely short set, but you probably have a much longer set, a much better set than I do here. But you see the power of just being able to go up here, do 2 clicks, and actually drop that in. Also, I'm betting that whenever you do interrogatories, particularly if it's a type of case that you do very often, you probably start with like the first 5 or 6 interrogatories. You're asking the person to identify themselves fully. You're asking, if it's an accident case, you're asking for whether they have sought medical treatment and from whom, all of that. Again, I can go up here to Quick Parts on the Insert tab, go down here to my litigation section because that's the way that I've actually tagged this. And let's see, interrogatories accident. And you notice I've got 3 interrogatories that are already done. And 2, I've already got this using automatic numbering, so I can continue that automatic numbering throughout the document. And anytime interrogatories are added or deleted, those numbers will automate themselves. They will automatically update themselves. So these are some techniques that you can use for putting together documents really quickly. If you have some elements that you know that you're going to use repeatedly, you can embed those in a template. And this particular template is my standard pleading template. You can embed things like, at work, I have a whole slew of these things. Different certificates of service, for e-file or for mail service. I have some language for the stipulation of dismissal that I just showed you. I have language for a notice of appearance. I have signature blocks. And for non-litigation documents, pay attention, those of you who are working in transactional law, corporate notary acknowledgement, a self-calculating exhibit that I can use either in litigation or in transactional. I can use that in either place. But this is a really handy library of things to have, both here under Quick Parts, and you can also store these things in specific areas like tables, or I have my letter header here. I believe I have do I have a customized footer? I do at work. I have a customized footer that includes the document number on the left, the page number in the middle, and then in a couple of them that I have the last date and time that it was actually updated for things like pleadings indexes and whatnot. But those are some techniques that you may want to consider using. And speaking of which, I'm going to switch over here and announce something really quickly. If you're interested in these kinds of techniques, you may want to join me next week as I start my Assemble Documents Faster workshop. What that is a demonstration of a lot of these kinds of techniques, how to set these sorts of things up so that you can use them in your documents and enable yourself to put together documents faster, things that will update themselves, things that will make editing easier and make the creation of the document actually faster. So if that's something that you're interested in, this is going to be an on-demand video workshop, meaning starting next Thursday. And this is something that you can watch at your leisure. If you want to watch it on your lunch hour, if you want to schedule some time after work to do it, or if you have some time during work that you can allocate to doing a little bit of training, you can go to the page and view each of these videos in succession. The registration page so you can receive the emails to notify you when each video goes up is is here at this address, legalofficeguru.com, assemble-documents-faster-enroll-NV. Sorry about the long page name. But again, this is an on-demand video workshop. It starts next Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Time in the US. So if you want to get the emails to tell you where to go to view the first video and the successive videos in the series, this is where you go to enroll. And I'll actually, while I've got you here, I will actually show you the enrollment page. It's here. It tells you a little bit about what the workshop is going to be about, and then allows you to go ahead and enroll for that email series that will prompt you to go view the videos. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you next week, starting Thursday, for the Assemble Documents Faster workshop. And this has been Deborah Saavedra with LegalOfficeGuru.com. Thanks for watching.